Welcome back, everyone, to Wash in the Wild, episode number 23, I think. As you can tell, the goons next to me are making animal noises, but no Ryer this week, so we took a stab at the video and sound you hear. So if there's anything wrong with it, it's Ryer's fault because he's gone. So this week,
just to clarify, is Gentry and Dan.
Oh yeah, saving his own skin. Classic.
The moment we walked in the building, Matt passed off the camera. So,
anyways, this week we wanted to do, I believe it was episode 6 last time we did this. We're gonna do some more controversies, so stuff that we might not all agree on, or we all agree on it, but the vast majority of the public doesn't. So you're gonna try not to offend each other or anyone else. You want to pray us in?
Sure. Father, we, as always, are so very appreciative of the country we live in and the state we live in. We're so blessed. Thank you for the outdoors, the resources, the families that we're all blessed with, an awesome church and a community. Lord, you've given to us so very much. So we just pray that you could help us to be able to get out of the way and let you speak tonight, and help to be able to have an entertaining show and be able to reach out and spread your will and gospel to others. Lord, we love you. Praise in your name. Amen.
Amen. Keep Ryer safe in his travels.
Oh, yes.
I'll start with a light one that I think we all pretty much have similar ideas on. So are swivels efficient in fishing? Should you use swivels? Because on one side, people say, well, it takes a fraction of the time that it would take to change baits. You don't have to tie knots every time, and it's more convenient. You get in the water faster, you catch more fish. And the other side is, well, the pros don't use them. They mess up the action on your baits. They catch less fish. The fish see them. The fish sense them, and it catches less fish. So the argument is, people think that they'd rather take more time to tying knots and then actually catch more fish. Is the belief, because people say that swivels interfere with the fishing.
Why would a swivel? Well,
I don't know, man. You guys I am in support of swivels.
You guys are the experts, but
I'll go the opposite.
Wait, let me ask the question first. Calm down.
All right.
I know you just woke up and you're all jittery.
He's rearing to go.
Rearing.
Wouldn't a swivel actually help the action?
Well, it's going to help.
It depends on where that swivel is.
Correct.
In your rig, right? Mm-hmm. But wouldn't it help?
Well, I think, yeah, it depends the type of rig you're using, but for some fishing, walleye fishing, the idea is that the fish is going to see that, right? So especially if you're just doing a hook, a straight hook to your line, right? You want to have there be as little extra stuff in the presentation as possible. So yeah, if you're going with spinners, crankbaits, different things where you're going to be doing a lot of erratic motion, especially what are they called? Those, it's not a jerk bait, jigging wraps. Those things, anything where you're constantly jigging it, you do want some kind of a swivel on the line. To be clear, I think what you're talking about is a snap swivel. A swivel is just
a snap swivel.
Yeah.
Or swivels in general. Or
swivels in general. Swivels allow your bait to roll without the whole line rolling, because especially in ice fishing, maybe we'll get to this later. If you've ever used cameras or something that you can see your bait underwater, you'll jig, and if you don't have a swivel, that like your line twists. And then once it stops after you're jigging it, it'll untwist.
Unravel.
Then, yeah, and your line will just do this rotating thing, and not a very natural movement in the natural kingdom. Something just sits in one spot and just goes and spins, right? So
unless it's depicting an injured bait fish. True,
but usually those are anyways. I'm just saying the things that I've heard. I have them and I use them depending on the type of fishing that I do. I mean, it's
so I'm in support of swivels, and any type of fishing I do, I put a swivel on. And some people say, "Oh, if you use a swivel, you're just bad at tying knots. You just don't know how to tie knots."
Well, that's true.
I'm I'm super confident in my knots. I know how to tie 3 different knots, which isn't saying much because I only really use one of them. But I know how to do the other 2.
No, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. You'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't do that. I actually know the knots, so I'm not bad at tying knots. But I've never seen I've never had a problem with catching fish. I guess I've never seen it like in action, real time, where it's like one of my friends is not using a swivel and I am, and he's catching like substantially more fish than I am. I've never seen that. I guess technically people say that's how it goes, but I've never seen it. I've never had a problem with using swivels. I've never like caught less fish because I use a swivel versus not. So I guess I've just never seen the negatives to using a swivel.
I bet it's, so if you're fishing in Minnesota or areas where they have super clear water, we just don't have that here. Most of our cleanest bodies of water are,
Audubon, alkaline.
Yeah,
sometimes.
but even that, what is the measure of water?
Clarity?
Yeah. What did you say? Did you say the word?
Clarity.
Clarity.
I don't know the specific scale
anyways,
for it.
There's a scale, and it's actually pretty cool. It has to do with this big disc.
It's like a Secchi disc or something like that.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that in my college class.
Maybe that should be. So back to
the
the
redneck knew a word.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, come on! You're the scientist in the room. I didn't say that at all. You got me sidetracked. So the point is water clarity. I bet if we were fishing in very, very clear water, like salt water and stuff like that, those guys would probably have a different story. But yeah, I would agree with you. In the vast majority of waterways that we fish, they're not gonna.
See, I'd argue with you because I grew up crystal clear water.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
like,
dude,
you can see a bass on the bottom 12, 15 feet down. Right? Crystal clear water, and we use swivels.
Well, bass lead
and we
anything.
caught.
I don't understand why it's hard to bass fish. No, I'm just.
You are just so like. This guy just only walleye fishes.
So I have 2 things to say about this topic.
I wouldn't even consider myself a bass fisherman, but I have fun catching
I
bass.
apologize to all the bass fishermen out there.
Oh, if I could take you to places to catch smallmouth, it'd ruin you.
Believe me,
you would.
I love.
You would
catching
change
smallmouth.
your mind.
Don't lie. You do not love catching smallmouth.
Even though I know you don't like a fish that fights back, but they'll kick your butt. So I have two things to say on this topic about swivels.
Yeah.
Number 1 is pike don't care.
True.
Because they'd eat a pop can
if you threw it by them enough,
if you threw it past them and they were mad, like they usually are. And the other thing that I would say is actually 3 things. The other thing I say is if you're comfortable with it, do it.
Yeah.
If you're happy doing it, do it. The third thing that I would say is this is one of the things that drives me nuts about us as sportsmen is that we always got to find something to fight about. Yeah. Maybe it's just human. It's our nature as humans to do. But who cares if you use a swivel and I don't, or vice versa? My opinion.
That almost is what we should end with. There's the show, right? I mean, you're right, man.
Either you got another topic we can go to.
No, we can come back and say it again. Actually, in order for a human for it to sink in, we have to say it 7 times.
You're right.
7 times 7 different ways. I think that's actually
biblical. Yeah.
So,
how many times should you forgive or disagree?
I don't think that's.
I don't think that disagree part was in there, but.
Do you have either of you? I put out the swivels. Matt, you said you got a list. Dad.
All right.
Yeah.
We got Matt.
This one probably won't take very long because I just think this is.
Did you Google these or did you write off the noggin all these?
I'm remodeling a house.
Right off the noggin.
And I have not been.
So Google.
Sleeping. So. Yeah, about 10 minutes ago I started looking because I asked you guys, what are we talking about this week?
No, don't listen to him. For reference, every topic that we talk about, we have a group chat, and it at least gets sent a day to 2 days in advance at the minimum.
Yes.
So it's not like I didn't tell him what we're doing.
But you had...
He just didn't care.
You had to read it.
What do you mean I had to read it?
Me.
Well,
in order to know.
dude, if you don't check I can't. You lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, man. I can't make you look at the text.
And I might have read that whole long, 47 text string that you guys had going. But I'm remodeling a house and probably went in one ear and out the other.
We're off topic. What was the controversy you wanted to get to?
So one of the ones that came up that I think is just hilarious is that it's about trophy hunting and management. Mm-hmm. And so we've talked about this before. I think we talked about, do we agree? I think it was one of our other hot topic things. We were talking about trophy hunting versus.
He wasn't here for the other hot topic one.
So you're fresh bait.
I'm fresh bait.
So anyway, this one I find hilarious because of essentially, I'm trying to put this in a nutshell. Let's call it a debate over targeting the largest animals for antlers, hides, whatever it might be. Okay. So versus meat.
Yeah.
The opposition to this particular one that I read argues that it removes the best genes from the population. And then it says the other side of it is proponents claim the fees fund conservation. So the opponents to that statement were actually the ones that are right, because we've already talked about Pittman, Robertson, Dingle, Johnson, all of the fees that we pay as sportsmen through the purchase of licenses, hunting equipment, et cetera, that helps fund conservation.
But that's not just trophy hunters, that's hunters in general.
Oh, there you go. See, you jump all over. But let me go back to one. I want to make one huge point on this. Why I think this is so.
All right.
The other opposition,
so the
other side of the coin says it removes the best genes from the population. Obviously, whoever wrote that, or who those opponents are,
doesn't understand.
They do not understand wildlife management. They don't understand genetics, because in order for that animal who is
to get to the point where it's at,
right?
Yeah.
The best of the best, let's call it, trophy, best of the best.
They have to be mature.
They have to be mature, which means
they've probably gone through
during the years that they live, they are passing on their genetics. Because the guys that I know who are, they're not going to shoot a deer under 160, 70, 80 inches, right? We talked about that on one show about measuring deer. That's a large animal. For the average. We're not talking about Texas or game farms or anything like that. Those deer usually have to live, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, depending on where you're at up here.
Up here, it's 5.
Probably 4.5, 5. Who knows? Because it's different every year. Genetics vary on region, et cetera, et cetera. So they actually are spreading their genes more so through trophy management or trophy type approaches to hunting than they would be if you're just shooting the first animal, whether it's a bear, whatever it is. Walleye. Do you keep a walleye over 22 inches, or what's your limit?
Yeah, usually it's just so I was going to bring that up because that is the argument.
But anyways,
you're right.
So let's get on his.
All right,
we
sorry.
want to jump to the.
No, walleye's part of it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you keep a walleye over a certain?
Well, it's different because it's fishing. But, I say all the time, if you want to catch big fish, you got to let big fish go, right? And so that kind of, in some ways, flies in the face of what you're saying. But in that in fishing, you are preserving those trophy class fish, right? Whereas in hunting, it's different because there's no catch and release in hunting. So, I mean, it's different. It's hard to compare the two, but
not from a genetic standpoint.
Well, but I mean, as a fisherman, I'm not. And I'm gonna look at somebody who keeps a 25-inch walleye and be like, what are you doing? And I'm gonna try not to judge, but that's what's going through my brain. Like that fish could, is probably a breeding female. There's males that get that big too, but that's the genetics that you're taking out of the system.
So my point being, the longer they live, these big fish, longer they live, the more they're passing on their genes. The longer that deer lives, the more it's passing on its genes.
True.
So from a genetic standpoint, it probably really, the opponents here they need to maybe do some studying.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you from a hunting perspective. From fishing, fishing's different because there's certain populations that don't breed. Like in the Missouri River system, our salmon population doesn't breed. They don't stock that population. It's gonna die out. I think I've heard the Game and Fish say within 3 to 5 years, which is crazy. Like I suppose that's how long those fish live. So in some areas there's not a
because they're going to spawn and then after they spawn they're going to die.
Yeah, but they don't successfully spawn at all.
Right.
That's not a thing for the
But they still go through the process.
Yes,
They
correct.
go through the process,
correct.
but they don't actually succeed.
Yeah. So, anyways, the idea is you're trying to encourage those larger fish to spawn successfully, right? Versus not. But then again, I suppose the actual science of a fish spawn is not the same as a mammal either. So you got to think about that too.
That kind of leads into my next one. I guess I have two of them, but in North Dakota specifically, we don't have a slot limit and we don't have a walleye season. If you go to our neighboring state, Minnesota, they have specific slot limits for specific lakes, but overall they have a slot limit for walleye, and then they also have a walleye season. Should North Dakota implement either of these ideals for Minnesota?
Walleye master?
Yeah, so I did, actually, the North Dakota Game and Fish just came out with, they did this on purpose, and they purposely led into it with slot limit on the big three, and my jaw hit the floor. I was like, what? I've not heard anything about this. And the intro was, slot limit on Lake Skakawea, Devil's Lake, and then the Missouri River system being Oahe, right? So you get into it, and it was as much of a teaser as the Game and Fish can be. So they talked about slot limits, the lower limit. So the idea that you're protecting anything below a certain length. So you're not allowed to keep anything below 12 inches, or an upper limit. You're not allowed to keep anything above 20-inch walleye if we're talking. Or there's a hybrid of the two where you have
keep one over a certain.
Yeah. So and they talked about it all, that North Dakota doesn't have a slot limit, and they did a good job of explaining, and we're not going to introduce one, and they did a great job of explaining why. This is why I appreciate you, Matt, because they use terms that you've talked about, right? Like the whole reason why you would have a slot limit for on the lower end is because you want to encourage the year classes, right? It's not good for a system to just have a single year class. You want to have variety. So anyways, you want to encourage those younger year classes, and then everybody understands hopefully understand the upper level.
Big side slot.
You want to preserve the breeding fish, and the biologist did a great job of explaining why these systems don't need any of the above. The mortality rate, and then so there's overall mortality rate, and then what do you call is it the harvest rate? Where the overall mortality rate, like death in the system for any reason, and then there's the harvest rate specific to
Fishermen.
people.
You're talking like compensatory mortality.
Compensatory. There you go. Yes. Damn. All these words. We should have that whiteboard.
So anyways, North Dakota doesn't need a slot limit.
Correct.
But on the other side, so I believe Minnesota's walleye season starts in I think it's second week in April, and then goes till end of January. And the idea is that these fish, I don't know if it's all bodies of water. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, you're talking, wait, not a slot limit. You're talking the season.
Season. Minnesota has a walleye season.
Correct. Yeah, that they close the season.
Yeah, you can't catch a walleye. Yep. Well, you can catch a walleye. You can't keep any.
Correct.
And the idea is you're not supposed to fish for them. But the idea is that they can successfully complete their spawn, and then the season opens right after they finish their spawn. Obviously, the spawn is subjective year to year. This year we had a later spawn than we usually do, in North Dakota at least. But like that's why the Rainy River is so big, because as soon as that opens up, those massive spawned out fish are hungry, and everybody floods the Rainy River. That's just what happens in Minnesota, because that's like basically the day of when that season opens. Everyone's out there. Should North Dakota have something like this on certain bodies of water? Should they do it statewide? Because there's essentially two sides of it, where there's people who, they don't think we need it, obviously, because our compensatory, I can't say that word, mortality rates, I had it in my brain, it just wouldn't come out.
Compensatory? Can you say that word
Compository?
Compensatory is what would die anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Additive is what would go above natural or expected mortality, right, in a population.
Yeah, so the one side of it is
hunting and fishing.
Yeah, so
our
additive,
mortality rates,
not so good. Compensatory, they're gonna die
anyways.
Our mortality rates are in the positives right now, where we don't need to implement a limitation on catching walleye.
Correct.
Your thoughts, Matt? You're the resident educated guy in the room.
I don't think North Dakota needs
I agree with
a
you.
slot limit. We're not.
The walleye,
I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, Game and Fish could tell us this better, but I don't think North Dakota's a destination walleye fishery.
Yeah, meaning there's not going to be, thousands of people flooding in from out of state to go fish whatever lakes we have.
Versus waterfowl,
yeah.
which we are a destination waterfowl.
Yeah,
state.
and that's why, obviously, waterfowl are regulated a lot more than fishing usually, nationwide. But
Well, and they're also migratory, and they cover
that's what I'm saying. They're federal, and it's a whole other
three
thing.
countries.
But compared to Minnesota, where that first week of their walleye season, people are coming in from everywhere to fish the Rainy River. Obviously, is a big one. I've talked about that just because you get massive spawned out walleye on there. So we're not what you're trying to say is people aren't coming in the thousands to fish our lakes and rivers like they do in Minnesota.
Yeah,
and
the
other
pressure is not. We're probably, I don't know, again, because I'm not so much fisheries person, but my guess is just, and do not anybody quote me or say that
we're spreading false information.
I know anything. Look it up yourself, but I would say we are well inside of compensatory mortality.
Absolutely, and this
with our walleye fishery in North Dakota,
100%, and I think pretty much for every fish. I should look it up and see what the gentleman's. He did a great job, and he went through the numbers, explaining our reproduction rates, and then the compensatory rate. So the rates, the harvest rate that we have, and the reproduction rate was like 50%. And then of that, our mortality rate or our harvest rate was like 14, depending on the system. I think they said Sakakawea. It was either Sakakawea or Devil's Lake was the highest. It was still under 20.
Yeah,
so that those fisheries they're fish machines. They're just cranking them out. And then they did just one of the things you talked about, whether we closed the season or not. Mm-hmm. And I'll kind of go on both sides of this, just because I've experienced, well, I guess Wisconsin more than it's a long story. The address why we don't close the season in North Dakota, it's to provide, and I really like this as somebody who doesn't have a big fancy boat. He really just said that it gives an experience for shore anglers to catch fish. You can fish in the shallows. In coulees in different places, and you have a really good chance at catching a trophy class fish that other times of the year you're not going to be able to catch.
In the spring, shore fishing is almost better in some spots. I'm not going to say it, but there's one spot. There's one spot that's north of Bismarck.
You've already said it.
No, not the tail ridge. No.
Oh.
You catch quantity there, you don't catch quality.
Oh. Yeah.
There's one spot north of Bismarck that's really good from the shore for catching
don't lean so far
the 20 pluses. Anyways,
yeah.
I know you've been wanting to get to this one.
Wait. Well, sorry, but before we get there, yes, I'm excited to get to that. The other side of this, of the close of the season, I would say and what I'm about is probably going to speak heresy to a lot of people in North Dakota. But if you haven't experienced, think about what opening deer season is like, right? In Minnesota and Wisconsin, that's the fishing opener. Like people, it doesn't matter. It can be terrible, rainy, days that people around here be like, I ain't going fishing. Why am I going to go fishing on a 30-degree day when it's spitting rain? That's the fishing opener, right? And people, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it brings people together. So that's the only thing that if you haven't experienced it, it is kind of cool, right? To have that opener. Like what in Vermont what's their deal with? They close?
Vermont.
Dang, why do I keep New Hampshire? I keep saying Vermont. I'm sorry. Vermont's awesome too, I'm sure.
I'm not a skunk hunter.
A skunk hunter.
If you're from Vermont, feel free to.
Deer season is probably the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but do they close?
Yeah, they have close seasons. Like
for trout, I'm sure. Huh?
Well, trout, absolutely. They have close seasons on bass while they're spawning. Especially because smallmouth will be on beds.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is drop something in that bed.
And that's why North Dakota's so great, man.
Right? You can see the fish setting on the beds. You drop something in the bed, and that bass is going to pick that up to move it off her bed. Right?
Yep.
And bed fishing is awesome because
you're
going to catch fish.
And you're going to catch big fish.
Right. And you can actually throw to the bed you want to. Yeah. Right? And
it's so fun.
It's a blast. But yeah, they have closed seasons on, a lot of different. Most states do have closed seasons.
Yeah.
Like in New York, we couldn't keep bass through the ice.
Really? The whole season?
Yeah. Through the ice fishing season, we could not keep bass through the ice. But you go to New Hampshire, you can keep bass through the ice.
What was the reason for that? They didn't want you to target you?
I want to say they were. I think it's because of susceptibility.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty easy to catch bass through the ice.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think it was, probably an over-harvest thing, or maybe it's a culture. I have no idea. I don't. But, smallmouth through the ice,
it's fun.
On the dinner plate.
Oh, yeah.
It is awesome.
And
it's so awesome.
I do have to say that, and I don't know why, but in North Dakota, I've seen a lot of people that, they treat a smallmouth almost like a carp. They're in the same vein of you eat that? Gross.
I think that's just your upper echelon of walleye purists that you associate with.
They're almost like a panfish, to be honest with you. They're just a huge panfish, and they will kick ribs. Your butt.
Yeah, and they're a blast to catch, and you don't you don't wonder if you have a bass on the line,
especially smallmouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Largemouth are fun, but smallmouth are better.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
largemouth don't fight all the way in either.
That could be our next.
They give up.
Largemouth versus smallmouth.
Well, there's not even. Why would we have that conversation?
Someone could go on the side of the good old largemouth bass, man. They get bigger. They jump usually better than smallies do.
Who?
What do you mean, who? Largemouth? There's only two sides to this coin.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, fight
What do you
words.
mean, what is wrong with me? They hit topwater better. Dude, I'm trying to find reasons to defend the largie, man.
I wish I could take you to New Hampshire.
I wish I could go there.
I would change your mind.
All right, Dad.
If you could handle the mosquitoes.
Handle the mosquitoes, man? We forgot the bug spray on 8 of our duck hunting trips this year, man. And we go in August. It was bad. Anyways. You've been wanting. I can see you just itching over there to talk about Panoptics.
Yeah, so
tell the people.
Active imaging. To be clear, we're not going to be partial to any manufacturer. So
explain active imaging though.
Live sonar.
Yeah.
Anyways,
forward-facing sonar. So it uses, and I just read this. Basically you have beams that emit from a transducer, a device that are directional, and you can move the transducer in the direction that you want to see, right? And it's rendered real time on a screen. They're pretty expensive because there's.
And to be clear, we're talking about live scopes, not just regular flashers.
Yeah, not like a 2D sonar. So
3D forward facing sonar.
So Garmin's
So, just you guys have to explain that, because even me, I'm just like, okay, it allows me to find fish.
Correct.
In real time. And
not just find
instead
fish.
of
it's not like a scanner on
dropping
a boat.
bait down and hoping and praying that they're there. You're actually cruising in a boat, and you can find the fish.
Yeah, and you see
up
them
off the bottom, right?
Yeah,
you see them on the bottom too. But.
Well, so I would say I think the technology for ice fishing is it's a game changer for ice fishing because it's stable. Right, you're on a solid fixed piece of ice, and it's not moving. Right, where when you're on a boat, that thing's moving, and it's real time sonar, and you're getting all this information back. So if that thing's moving, the idea is, and what's super cool is you can see your lure in relation to the fish that's coming up to it. So you can see the size. You can see the size of your lure versus the size of the fish. So if the fish that's moving up in the lure is the fish that's coming in, or the thing that's coming in is the same size as your lure, whatever. I'm not in the mood for a 1 and 2 inch fish.
Sardines.
Yeah, sardines. But if you can see it and it just dwarfs your fish, and a lot of them
dwarfs your bait.
Yeah, dwarfs your bait. A lot of them have there's grids, so you can tell this is a 2-foot fish, this is a 4-foot fish. You can see the direction it's coming from. What I love to do, and Gentry gives me a hard time about this. Sure, it's fun for fish, but you can see structure. I can see weed lines. I can see rocks.
I don't give you a hard time about it. It's just you find the weed lines and then don't fish them.
Yeah.
You fish a sand bed.
You can map your own body of water. If you're into, I don't know, you kind of feel like you're a cartographer. They all have their own mode where you can, if you have a boat or ability to move around, you just flip a switch on and it'll create a topographic map of the bottom of accurate real time of the bottom of the lake or whatever, the river that you're fishing, which is super cool. So
long story short.
Yeah, sorry, you asked.
Long story short. The 5-minute rant he just went on short. It's real time. It's not like a scanner on a boat where it's a 5-second lag between when the fish moves and when it shows up on your graph. It's real time. So if that fish moves, you see it on the graph. You can see your bait on the graph. When you jig, your jig moves up and down in real time.
In real time.
Thank you, because now I kind of understand. Because
yes.
It's cheating, but okay.
And that's so the one side of it is it's unfair to the fish. It's essentially, where do you draw the line in technology? Because there's one side that says it's cheating. It's cheating. It's unfair to the fish. And I will say I have experience with this. For sure for ice fishing, most tournament anglers don't use forward facing sonar. They say it does mess with the fish. And I've personally seen, just fishing with him, there's a line of depth that when you get under it, the fish definitely do take notice. For me, what I've seen is right around, and with the specific model he has, I don't know if different models throw out different sonar waves of different strength. But what I've seen, right around, if you get under the 6-foot mark, probably, the fish really start to take notice. There was one day where we were fishing 5 feet of water for perch, and it was we were in probably 8 feet and we were catching them a little bit, and then we moved to the 5-foot and we were marking all of them. But as soon as you left that sonar on for 2 minutes, they'd all just clear out from under it. And then
if you get within a foot of the fish, you're saying.
Well, you would. So the cool thing about this. Or are you saying
overall depth? If below a certain depth,
I'm saying
the fish now are paying attention.
Yeah. I'm saying if the fish are within 5 feet of the device that sits just under the water.
And that's what I was getting.
And what's crazy is perch is a great, and I've seen this too. This is we're maybe about to break something, because I've Googled this and
break something.
And there's this kind of whispered about in hushed circles on the internet, as far as, because forward facing sonar is huge money, right? Everybody's got one now, and they're they're $2,500, is the going rate to get one of these things for ice fishing. It's even more if you're in open water fishing because the screens get bigger and batteries are more, and you're probably easily talking $3,500 just to get into one of these systems. So, but the hot topic that I know that I have seen, especially, you get a schooled fish of perch and the thing is, I can move this thing around. So imagine, there's a beam that's coming out of this, and as
you twist the cable.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It's got to stick so that where it's facing, which is kind of cool. So I move over and there's a school of fish over there. I move it over
beams,
there.
Well, yours goes 30 feet out?
No, it'll go I got a new one. So it'll go 150 feet. I'll be able to see.
Yeah, you can see 150 feet to your left or your right. You see where the fish
you
are.
get the 30-footer, he gets the 150.
No, he sold it. Oh. I didn't even get a chance, believe me.
Anyway, so as I'm turning this, I see a school of perch, and I've watched them go to the bottom, the whole school. Why are they doing that? There's and then you rotate it, and you can just watch them down. And yes, usually it's 10 feet of water or less. The other thing that's a bummer with that forward-facing so without going too far.
I will say, just not trying to interrupt you, with walleye and pike, it seems to affect them way less than it does with panfish, perch. I haven't seen enough bass under that sonar consistently to know what it does to them, but perch and bluegill especially, it seems to affect them way more than it does walleye or pike.
Something to do with the surface to body mass ratio.
I would guess, yeah. Because, you got to think about it. It's throwing out essentially consistent waves of sonar. I don't know at what frequency or strength, but I'd assume comparatively to the fish's body, the little perch and the bluegill are going to feel it way more than a 25-inch pike or a 15-inch walleye.
So it's protecting little fish.
Possibly.
But it's...
Essentially, yeah.
And I don't have any science behind this. It's just observations.
I bet the science is out there.
Because there's.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Somebody, I guarantee you, some grad student somewhere that's a avid fisherman is probably doing research on this.
If you post in the comments because I would love to talk.
None of the tournament anglers use them, and there's no science to say
I think I disagree with you there.
Every ice fishing tournament I've seen, most of them don't use forward-facing sonar.
Huh.
Now, there's no science behind it. There's no definitive answer to say, well, if you're at this depth fishing this type of fish, then they're going to, be on alert or swim away because of the waves. To my knowledge, there's no official study on that. There's no paper written. It's just from what everyone's seen collectively, it does definitely affect the fish to a degree, depending on the depth and the species.
But
in regards,
that may be out there, but that's
what I'm saying.
It's the other side of the coin, and this is proven the big money in the big tournaments. There's a guy that's been winning that tournament, and he barely ever has his line in the water. He'll move into a bay, scan it if he doesn't see, and he's looking for a fish. It's really like hunting in a lot of ways.
He knows the fish is there.
Yeah, he can read the sonar. He knows the fish that he can do size. He knows what it is. And unless he sees something worth fishing, he just takes off.
Right? So the controversy.
So the controversy is, and that's a great example.
Yeah.
Is it fair to other anglers and the fish itself? Because like you explained, it's essentially turned into hunting.
Yeah.
Because you can see how big the fish is on this essentially screen in real time. And I assume that was a real story from a couple years ago.
But absolutely, that's so.
Is it ethical to just drive around looking for big fish and only put their line in the water when there's a big fish under your boat or under you in the ice?
I would.
Are you killing the fish or are you letting it go?
That's a great point.
Well, in the case of tournament fishing, I guess it depends on the tournament. But
oh man, we could talk. I just thought of one. Go for it. Go for it.
Size just got big.
Well, if you're a guy just fishing for keepers and you're scanning a bunch of 12-inch fish and then you see, oh, look, there's a pair of 18s over there. And then you pull those 18s out, keep them, and then drive away because the rest of the fish in that spot are, 13 inches.
Mm.
But go back to what he just got done talking about your slot limit discussion.
Yeah, and I agree. It all ties together.
If we're in North Dakota and we're not even coming close to compensatory mortality with our with, let's say, walleye, because
Yeah.
that's where we're stuck on, because that's all you guys ever talk about. I'm proud of you for talking about bass, though. Anyway,
Dude, I love bass.
why would it matter? What's unfair?
Well, and here's the other side of it. Is it unfair to other anglers? Because like he talked about, it's,
No, answer my question. What's unfair?
I'm not saying it's unfair. I think they should be allowed. I think it's just that next step in technology that, everyone's got to get used to. It's the same thing with like compound bows, and obviously that's a pretty drastic example, but like when the compound bow first came out, whenever the first compound bow was made, I don't know off the top of my head, obviously that was a far superior technology to the recurve bows that everyone had.
Maybe not. Not when it first came out. I would say it's probably was.
Yeah, but okay,
but
now,
Yeah. Of course, yeah. Now it's like shooting a rifle.
yeah, and I'd assume there's a wide majority of people out there that over the years have said, well, compound bows are unfair because
Absolutely.
yeah, it's the same thing with this in a sense. And then is it unfair to other anglers because like he talked about, it's $3,500, $4,000 to buy one of these units. Obviously, not everyone has that type of money to spend on fishing. Is it fair to say essentially allow people to live in real time see fish while others are stuck fishing the old fashioned way?
Here's what I'd say about that. One is, what I'd say about technology is it is reducing our woodsmanship.
I'd agree.
I don't know what the term would be for fishing. Fishermanship. I don't know what that term would
I feel
be.
like woodsmanship
Because
covers the
something with
here's
angler,
the thing.
angle.
I know guys. I fished with guys that didn't have any of the technology, and they put you on fish every time.
Yeah.
Right?
But
if you're using this technology, now you're increasing your odds of finding fish.
Yeah,
right.
drastically.
And those are probably guides, or they fished a body of water and they knew it, right?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
They didn't start out with a scope
Correct.
trying to find their fish.
But it was 20 years worth of fishing knowledge on a specific body of water.
Yeah, but they had to learn it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they had to learn how that body of water changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they knew temperature, conditions, probably barometric pressure, not with a barometer, but just today's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
And they go fishing and they catch fish. I mean, that's kind of the thing that that's
us.
for you, Kurt.
For you, Kurt.
That's probably the thing that would concern me the most about it.
Yeah.
Is that people that are doing that, they're growing up in a culture of using technology versus woodsmanship.
Yeah.
Right? They're not as in tune to, I don't know if you call it condition, species, whatever, that
Yeah, there's
the person
definitely
who's doing it, as you say, the old-fashioned way, which would have been like,
20 years ago.
Yeah.
There's definitely a degree to it
when I
where
was
it's
40.
like there's a degree to it, man. Like I'm obviously not as good of a woodsman as you, or what term did you come up with? Angler, anglerism,
Yeah. Anglership, whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Fishermanship.
Fisherman.
Something like that.
But the thing is, though, is again, fishermen are going to argue over different things based on what they're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the one consistent thing: fisheries management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our experts, our fisheries biologists, hopefully know the information and know if that's an issue for the overall population of whatever species that is. So I say, if you like it, do it.
Yeah.
Because our fisheries biologists, in this case, we're talking fish, they're the experts. They know what the population can sustain. And if you love using it, because it sounds like it's fun, kind of.
Yeah.
It's
right?
like playing
it's like spotting and
It's like
Yeah.
playing
It
a
sounds
video
like
game,
spotting and stalking.
That's
To be honest
exactly
with you.
what it is.
It's like playing a video
Yeah.
game, man. Because you
But-
can see in
but
real
with-
time if the fish
yeah.
likes your jigging or not. If you do big jigs and the fish sits 5 feet away, and then you start doing little jigs and the fish swims right up to it and grabs it.
I'm not as nuts at all whatsoever about fishing as you guys are. I love it, but I'm
Yeah.
not as intense about it. I want to go catch food.
Yeah, well, me too.
Right.
I mean,
So, and I know that, and
But
you
yes,
guys
I
are
agree.
responsible because you're putting bigger fish back so that they can continue to reproduce and, so on and so forth. But I just think if you like it, you're following the rules and regulations, and our biologists say that it's okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Am I not being controversial
You really shot
enough?
holes in the next thing I wanted to talk about with that statement, though. But
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the one consistent thing, unless there's some kind of controversial topic that I don't know is coming.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to overall species management, and it doesn't matter what it is, really. I mean, waterfowl's a little different because
it's federal once again. Yeah.
there's usually a delay from my experience.
What do you mean from like?
So if the prairies are dry,
Oh yeah. Like
right, those ducks are going to move north. They're going to go into a situation.
yeah.
The parklands
They'll push back.
where they're not as
Stressed.
No, what I'm saying is a lot of the puddle ducks, they nest in the prairies. They know where to nest, right? I think, for the most part, probably to prevent predation to some level. Predation's always going to happen. But when it's really dry up there or here and up there, they move to the parklands. And when they get to the parklands, it's a different habitat,
Yeah.
right? And so
define parklands.
As I understand it, it's kind of like a prairie forested kind of area.
Oh,
so you've
okay.
got a mixture of timber and prairies versus wide open prairie type of thing, right?
Makes
and so there's a lot of variations, and so by the time the counts are done and mallards are down and this is down and this is down and so on, the season's set. So they're still going to harvest. So when I say a delay, it's not like instantaneous, and I don't think it's instantaneous with any species really. It takes because you can't make a snap decision because it could just be a blip on the screen. And I mean, like pheasants, right? Do you see them change the pheasant limit?
No, in a long time.
Because all it takes,
my whole life, I don't ever.
All it takes, as we're experiencing right now, is one or two decent springs, and now there's pheasants, sitting by every mailbox.
Which,
it
man, I
like,
can't wait.
And if we have another good one, if we have another good spring
and another mild winter like we've had the past 2 years.
No, I mean, if this spring is good.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's pheasants
everywhere.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, in my experience, I don't know what it was back in the day, but I've never seen or heard so many pheasants as what I'm seeing this spring.
I would agree with you. I mean, it's been...
Well,
I'm a short timer, so...
When I was...
I've only been here 11 years.
When I was 5, man, and we went out pheasant hunting, it was... I mean, this year's going to be close to it, but, it was...
It was before
amazing.
You were alive in North Dakota.
Well, I'm even saying when I was 5, the pheasants were on the decline, but it was still crazy.
But they're different because they can respond so fast.
Oh yeah, it takes 2 years. It takes 2 year swings, like what we're seeing right now.
Respond very.
They're not like ducks or fish where they need a good span of 8 to 10 years. It's 2 years and they're back. And
because you don't care if you shoot a pheasant that's 5 months old versus one that's 2 years old, right?
If two roosters get up in front of me and there's a fully plumed out one and then there's a scraggly little one, obviously I'm going to shoot for the good one.
I'm shooting the easy one because they taste the same.
You're not trying to win no bar competitions, longest tail feather.
Nope, don't care.
Not going to win a free truck.
It's just like a turkey. If that beard's hanging, I'm pulling trigger.
And that's valid. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with people shooting a young pheasant. Obviously,
or a young deer. I mean, to each his own. All right.
I have something that. Sorry, I just had to look this up because I figured this. Wild pheasants have an average lifespan of less than a year, with a few surviving beyond 2 to 3 years due to high mortality rates.
That's got to be counting hunting, I'd assume.
Well, captive pheasants can live up from 11 to 18 years. That's AI overview, so I don't know if that's true or not. But anyways,
I could have told you that a while.
Yeah, they're pretty close. I mean, they're real low on a food chain, so.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that they're...
Okay, anyways. So I have one that this one I think is a little hotter topic. So we talked about tournament fishing, and I think typically your standard tournament style fishing, you
go out.
You go out. You have a specific bag limit. That fish has to be brought back alive, and it has to be living when you check in. I think is typically what it is. But those, previously we've talked about. What's the term? I defined it probably incorrectly. When you keep a fish, and then you look to turn it loose.
Catch and release.
No, it's illegal. That is illegal. So in North Dakota, you're not allowed to keep a fish alive while culling. Yeah, thank you. So they're basically culling those fish, and when you talk about, now I'm going to get real close here, and maybe I'm going to make some people mad, but like a tournament like the Big Muddy, that's over the spawn. Let's be honest, that's when that tournament is. Whether it hits,
depending on the year. This year it was right on it because we had a late spawn. But.
Yeah, so you're targeting trophy class fish, and those guys are good. That's a major deal. North Dakota, I think. It's not a tournament friendly state, and they do. I think the Game and Fish does that on purpose. You have to give away over half of your 50% of your proceeds if you're doing an official tournament. Have to be given back to the Game and Fish, and it goes to that direct fishery.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's
cool.
why there's only 4 big tournaments in the state.
Yeah. And it's not on.
I like North Dakota even more now.
Yeah.
There's a Devil's Lake one. There's usually 2 on the river, and then they'll get one up at Sakakawea going.
Yeah, usually it's by.
And those are the majors. They have some small ones.
Rural fire department or something like that. Something local. So the thing that I'm talking about though is so you're catching multiple 30-inch fish, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking there's a lot of teams, so you're taking trophy class fish, truly trophy class fish out and to a significant degree during the spawn out of the system, and then with the idea that maybe they'll live, and I know some guys that do some things for the Big Muddy, and most of those fish die. You don't keep a fish,
and even if those fish do live, you're pulling them usually miles away from their beds.
Yeah,
I have an answer to that one. Go ahead.
Is it ethical to have a tournament?
Yeah, and on the flip side of it, there with technology, now I'll flip the coin. There are some pretty cool apps out there, like I've looked at one's called Fish Donkey, where they have tournaments where the technology allows you to so it's all length, it's not weight. Where you have to take you have an official measuring board, for lack of a better way to say it. You take a picture of this fish on the board, and then you take a picture of the fish or a video while you're releasing it, and that's an official submission. So the idea is your mortality rate is much lower, right? And that would be
because there's a ton of stress.
Correct.
Yeah. And if you're keeping a 30-inch fish, how big's your live well?
Yeah,
in order for that fish to be able to.
And let's be realistic, all of the big tournaments are weight usually.
Yeah.
Some walleye ones you'll find length, but like the Big Muddy, they do it's combined weight. Or is it length?
I'm pretty sure it's just weight. I should really go and check it out.
Anyways.
It's a cool experience. I don't want to take
none of the big tournaments are going to switch over to doing that unless there's a law made. So your question is, are tournaments ethical?
Yeah.
And should they continue? Like you said, North Dakota.
Ethical from the standpoint of the health of the fish is what.
And the fishery, probably more importantly, and
Well, we already talked about the fishery health.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a big part of it is if these tournaments were a problem to a degree where they were affecting the overall fish population in such a big way, they'd be the first thing to go. That's one of the first things your fishing game of whatever state you're at would look at are these big tournaments affecting our fish population in that big of a way. Obviously, like you said, North Dakota, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not easy to have a tournament, but there's a lot less upside for the company putting it on compared to other states. Because, like you said, I think it's right around 50% of the profits have to go straight back to the Game and Fish office. Yeah, so they don't do it to make money. It's usually put on by a foundation or, like you said, some fire stations, police, stuff like that. So there's not a lot of them in North Dakota. I think I touched on there's 4 major ones. So obviously our game and fish has looked at them. They've made it to where tournaments usually don't get that big in this state, and obviously it's not affecting our fisheries in a significant enough way where they would have to look at suspending them. Is my view.
See, this is where we need Fast Eddie so that we can have him look something up, because
I'm looking.
I'll about guarantee you there's been a lot of research done.
Well,
because they could put transmitters on those fish
let me
and
hit
check
you with this.
those fish.
You're right, but let me hit you with this. So yes, and they did so it was.
You probably
amazing.
have to do it by species, but
walleye is what we're talking about, right? So
because that's all that matters.
Yeah, correct.
That's all that tournaments around here.
Let's
for.
be honest.
The only tournaments in North Dakota are for walleye. I'm almost positive.
There's got to be there's one.
No, there's
one in
pike
Audubon. That's really any species.
Oh yeah, that's just a combined length, isn't it?
Yeah.
Combined length tournament.
Yeah, I think the rod and rec ones.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
anyways, they did talk about the tagged fish catch rate is like really low. Now you could throw
the
some
tagged fish catch rate.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So how often people catch a tagged fish? Because there's
No, I'm talking about
and then report it.
I bet there's research where they put radio transmitters on fish caught in a tournament and released to look at mortality.
I would assume. I don't know.
I've not heard of that.
I don't know.
I'm not saying they don't.
I don't know if they do that in North Dakota. They probably should. If anyone's listening from the Game and Fish, let us know.
Everything that I've ever seen is just a band. It's like a banded duck.
And they do ban a lot of the fish out of the tournaments.
Yeah, but as we learned,
Yeah.
banded ducks. You mean people shoot a lot of banded ducks?
Yeah.
Dude, and we could do that too. Is because obviously a lot. Well, are we done with this? We're not done with this yet.
Well, I think so. I guess my whole point was that. Well, I want to throw this other little tidbit out. In that same thing that I talked about, they were talking about the trophy class fish in Oahe isn't what it is in Sakakawea and
Devil's Lake.
And Devil's Lake. It's not bad, but this is where the big money is. I know I'm going to make some people mad, but I'm just throwing that out there that I guess we have the governors.
I think because you're talking Lake Oahe is the whole Missouri River system.
Yeah,
I think that definitely gets fished way more heavy, just from a overall fisherman's standpoint, than Sakakawea or Devil's Lake, specifically because that river runs through almost half of our state.
Sakakawea is half the state. I mean,
Not even close.
It's from Garrison all the way to the Montana border.
Yeah, but you gotta look at the population density. West of what is it? West of Bismarck, there's Mandan, which is a sister city essentially, and then Williston.
That'd be interesting to look up fishing. Anyways,
because all the big cities are along the river at some point.
Yeah.
So one comment, you talked about the fish has moved. So,
from their
a
beds.
guy caught. This was in the Finger Lakes in New York. I don't remember which lake.
And this was a bass.
Might have been. That's not Sauk. Anyway,
this was a bass though. You're talking about.
Yes, it was in a tournament. I believe the guy set the state record.
Really?
For smallmouth. Fish doesn't even look real. It's just a giant. Release the fish right at the boat ramp or whatever. Typically, right? They dump back in wherever they're weighed. Immediately after weighing, they dump them in, I guess. But this fish actually went back a few miles. And he caught the fish again that next year. And the reason why
did he break his own state record then?
The fish was bigger.
So he broke his own record.
Yeah. So that number one, that fish survived. And the reason why they say it's the same fish, obviously because of its size.
Yeah.
Because it was like 3 or 6 ounces bigger than it was before.
Yeah.
But they looked at the pattern.
Yeah.
Because no two smallmouth have the same pattern, right? And so some of those, it's pretty amazing. I mean, if you think about how far walleye travel anyway in a river, right? It's not an impoundment.
I wonder if
river.
it's a species by species thing.
Well,
I assume walleye could do it too.
That's what I'm saying is that, they're both fish. They're different fish, obviously, but that fish survived. But I'll about guarantee you that there is research where they put transmitters on, not tags, transmitters on fish.
I wish they did. I think that would be amazing.
I don't know if it's in North Dakota or not, but I'll guarantee
I know
you.
in some state they for sure done it. I don't know if our Game and Fish has done it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I wouldn't say that all wildlife research is pure, but politically, unless you're talking about lions or grizzlies or wolves or something like that, who's going to mess with it because it's just a walleye?
Yeah, correct.
Or it's you know what I mean? And so and these are grad students and stuff that are doing it that just want the truth. They just want to find out because they're passionate about it. So there's probably some really good research out there about this particular topic, because my concern would be the stress on the fish. That would be my biggest concern.
Because bass are a way hardier fish than walleye. Usually.
Yeah, but I'm not so concerned about the fish getting back to,
it's better.
This place it was caught, because they're going to adapt like most other things. But I'd be more concerned about stress.
Yeah,
and losing those fish. But at the same time, you go back to
the mortality
where we're at as far as North Dakota specifically.
Does it really matter?
Does it matter? Yeah. I mean, I hate to see a fish wasted.
Yeah. Correct.
If it's 30 inches long and it's going to die anyway, I think it should be sitting on somebody's dinner table. Yeah. If we knew that, keep it.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Go for the cheeks.
That'd be some big cheeks.
Yeah.
So.
We could do. I got one more that we could do, or we could.
Hounds. Yeah. Let's do hounds, because you guys don't care about hounds.
Yeah, I don't care.
I have no clue about it.
I love hearing about hounds.
You're debating yourself here.
So yeah, I would love to.
I'm not debating myself.
Well, I don't know anything.
You should have an opinion.
Well, I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know how it affects the.
So you could say.
What's your?
The argument is that based on the conversation we just had about forward facing sonar and all that stuff, right?
Is that hounds are unfair to game species?
Yes.
So when you say game species, are you talking like guys who are
it's
running deer with hounds, or tracking deer with hounds, or just any game species? That hounds are in general unfair to a game species.
Well, I personally wouldn't want to shoot a deer that's been run by hounds, because
well, yeah, that's what
they're
I'm
probably
saying.
not going to be that great, because the lactic acid build up in their muscles, and they're going to probably be pretty strong. I'm talking about rabbits,
coons.
I don't think
pheasants.
Yeah.
Quail, raccoons, black bear, mountain lions, bobcats.
So it's unfair to all those animals ethically. It's not ethical to use hounds, is what the one side of the argument.
People use hounds to hunt pheasants and quail.
Well,
don't you use a lab?
Hounds, dogs.
You own a lab?
Well, no. Oh, I thought you were saying like
a flushing dog.
Like not.
Well, they shouldn't be separated. Why would you separate a bird dog from a hound?
Now them's fighting words. Now you got me fired up. All right.
No, I mean, and listen,
right. Yeah.
people out there listen, be like, well, that's BS, because my dog just points the bird. Well, he found it for you, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about waterfowl, because actually a dog, if anybody was against dogs with waterfowl, they just don't know anything, because
the dog doesn't do anything.
The dog's going to retrieve a duck that a hunter couldn't retrieve on its own.
Yeah.
They're going to actually, that duck will get dispatched. But anyway, I'm talking about hounds, using hounds to pursue game, because we got western states and eastern states that have eliminated.
I don't think it's
illegal to pursue.
Okay, so
with a canine for any.
For like lions and pheasants,
or something like that, or bears back.
No state is outlawing a flushing dog like a lab for pheasants,
and nobody cares about raccoons, right? They're like, people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was addicted
in regards
to
the lion argument, because that's the main one. I don't know anything. First of all, this is just purely.
We've established that 23.
Well, I'm just making
sure. 23 episodes. Whoever's been paying attention,
you stepped into that.
All right.
Softball.
From my just straight opinion, I don't think it's unfair or unethical, I guess I should say, to the animal, because it's another method of hunting. As in, whether you look at like baiting for predators. Some people argue that that's unfair or not ethical. It's another method of hunting at the end of the day. Whether you're running, bears or lions or rabbits or raccoons, whatever it is, it's another method to hunt the animal. Obviously, your lions are way more restricted, just nationwide than your raccoons, just because they're a big predator.
Unless you go to Utah.
Yeah, I heard the restrictions are like almost like you can shoot lions or take lions year round, right?
It might be year round now.
Yeah, I think I saw something on that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
the guys are pretty upset about that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, yeah. So your lions are usually more regulated just because they are a big predator than like your raccoons and stuff. So I think that is where a lot of people sense the controversy, or I guess see the controversy. So in my opinion, I don't think it's unethical. I think it's another way of just hunting an animal. If you want to look at that as being unethical, then you have to look at your baiting or your thermal hunting predators at night and all that stuff, because all that is a variation of hunting. And if you're going to start singling out certain variations as being unethical, well, then you have to look at all of them. Because baiting is obviously I'd say a controversial topic as well. So is infrared. Obviously, there's, like in North Dakota, you can only use infrared for coyotes and raccoons, I believe. I think those are the only two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think it's unethical. I think it's another method of hunting.
What do you think? As the hound guy.
The resident hound guy.
If anybody thinks that hunting with hounds is easy, because I think that's part of
Oh,
the
it's
issue.
not. That is the first misconception that
It
people
is
make.
absolutely not. From a wildlife management standpoint, you actually get to evaluate the animal, right? So you're not taking like if it's bears, you're not taking a sow out. Lions, mainly people are looking to harvest
A big tom.
big toms, right? So you're taking in a lot of cases adult animals
males,
out that
usually
have
males.
been able to spread their genes, just so everybody knows that the older they are, the more genes were spread.
They don't get to be that big and mature and the big nice coats if they're not spreading their genes.
Yes.
I want to say something.
I don't go there.
We're not doing
I
it.
know you. Yeah.
We're not doing it. Nope, not today.
Probably the same thought. Anyway.
Okay, just keep it moving.
The other thing is that you increase lethal kill exponentially
Yeah, because you have time.
because you have a stationary animal.
And you're not rushing a shot. You obviously,
Yeah,
like
you-
you said, you're evaluating the animal.
You have time most of the time, And so, again, this comes back to as long as the management allows it based on our experts that say that we can take X number of animals out of the population and not negatively impact the population. Why is it and when they say unethical, it's actually probably more ethical because you have a higher opportunity for a lethal harvest.
I'd say it's more ethical than
and
like what we talked about, baiting or
You're
infrared.
probably going to take more mature animals that have been allowed to spread their genes.
Just keep going back to it, man.
Oh, that just drove me. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, I agree. It's a
people
pointless
should
argument.
Not be allowed to
Yeah,
talk
it's
about
a brain dead argument. I'm not saying that it's not.
I'm sorry. It's just certain things.
Yeah, well, I agree.
I personally love it. Someday, if I have the time again, I will do it again.
Do you think it's
I'm not going to
plausible in North
walk
Dakota?
behind trashy hounds. I walk behind good ones. So
I saw the only walker hound I've ever seen, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It was lion hunting in the Badlands. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this guy lion hunting in the Badlands.
I wanted to sit and talk to the guy for a while.
Do you think you could? I suppose you'd have to up north. It'd definitely be easier for coons and as far as training them. Because I mean,
I actually think it'd be easier in the prairie because you find. I think it'd be fun to run.
I guess
bandits
yeah,
in the
because
prairie. Because you'd hear some awesome races.
oh yeah, because what tree rows and
Where are they gonna go? You know that's
tree
the other
rows
thing.
or that one dead
you'd have
tree
to
in a
have-
wheat field.
I mean, you'd almost have to have. So wouldn't a strike dog
They're
or
probably
something
gonna
that would take them
They're
down.
probably gonna hole up.
Yeah, but then you're gonna hurt your dogs, though, right?
Not if they jump in a hole.
No, I mean they're gonna go in a hole. They're gonna go in
hole
a
up.
den.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and they're pretty crafty when they're being pursued. But I think it'd be fun just because. I mean, you could probably the river bottoms and stuff and just spotlight them.
Oh,
Bandits, you wouldn't need dogs. You could probably just walk the bottoms and shine the trees.
Yeah, and nobody's doing that anymore. Like I think I said this. There's a guy that I know, and people are calling him up just because he likes to hunt with his thermal scope, and farmers, anything where they're standing grain, corn, or anything like that these things get into them, and nobody hunts them anymore, which is kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
And they really don't.
Yeah, because
what predators do they have?
The fur prices are terrible right now on them, right?
Well, yeah. So if people are killing them and there's no market for them, so then what are they doing with them? Because they're one of the number one ground nesting predators on things like your ducks, right?
Yeah.
And so they are. We could be doing a service, but folks have said, "Oh, wearing fur is a bad thing."
Yeah.
So it's kind of crushed the market in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's all.
But what is pretty cool though, but in Pam's shop, there's a gentleman who sells furs in there, and people go nuts over him.
Really?
Like he started as a vendor with her.
Shout out Crafty Ladies.
Just before Christmas.
Kirkwood Mall. No, not Kirkwood.
No.
Gateway Mall.
Good for you.
No.
No, new storefront.
Broadway between 4th and 3rd.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our first sponsor.
Matt's wife.
In case you didn't know that. Well, actually, wait a minute. That makes me the sponsor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Shareholder.
No, people just go nuts over them. So anyway, somebody had something that you wanted to talk about, another one?
We could just get through this one real quick. I don't think it's controversial. So obviously in waterfowling, everyone wants to shoot a band, whether it's a neck band or a leg band or a collar if you're lucky enough. But
that would be a neck band.
Okay, what's the difference?
So, a collar is one that has actually like a GPS transmitter in it, and then a neck band is just a numbered metal band around their neck.
Now I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a leg band is the little
They don't do the big collars on geese anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they're still doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a bunch of research that was done that.
No, they're still.
It probably was.
Defuncto.
Probably the same people that think that trophy animals don't spread their genes.
I know they still do collars on geese. I think they do them on ducks, and then they don't do neck bands for ducks usually just because ducks don't usually have a big enough neck for them, but they do neck bands on geese and leg bands, rivet bands, stuff like that.
They use backpacks on ducks typically for transmitters.
Yeah, because they just do the neck. Anyways.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, they'll put like a.
I got a picture of Pam releasing one.
The small they're.
I gotta know what this looks like.
It's crazy. Like if you shoot one of those, man, it's
duck
it's
backpack
crazy.
Is what I'm googling right now.
Do transmitter. Otherwise, it's school backpacks.
Okay, keep going.
Anyways, so guys will obviously band hunt because it's cool to shoot a band, and I'm not acting like that. Like it's not. If I see a band in a field, obviously I'm usually taking my binoculars to the blind. I'm looking at them when I land them, or looking at them in the air to see if I can see the band. I'm not acting like that's not a thing. But there's some guys who will have these 1,000 bird feeds, and they'll land every bird they see and only shoot bands out of the 50 they have on the ground. The argument is that ruins the research of the bands, because if you're only targeting the bands, it ruins the research, like especially the mortality rate on these geese that they're getting from the band reports, because hunters are only targeting the bands. So I guess the controversy is that if hunters are specifically only shooting bands out of their fields and nothing else, they're ruining the study because they're giving off-put information.
So they're waterfowl trophy hunters.
Yeah, and that's what band hunting is. Like, no, seriously, he's right. Like,
that's
to a T.
Basically what it is.
Well,
to a T.
But you're not wrong, though, in that. I mean, I could see that.
It could skew the if it was happening enough, it could skew the data.
And it's usually not, because obviously not, like, that's usually those I don't want to say guides, because guides will just take you on, those big hunts, but, like, some of the guys who do this for, like, on social media, or, like, some of the waterfowl brand owners will, like, they'll just go out there and only shoot bands, which, like, I'm not saying, if I had the opportunity, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do the same thing, but...
Give me okay, you're telling me that
So
that you go out in the
the way you do this, and there's I know how to do it. I just don't find enough fields with enough bands in it to do it. So you find a field, whatever. If you take a spotting scope out there, you can see the bands on their legs. You can see a neck band really easily. And so if guys see enough of them, or if they just have the right field and they didn't look at all the legs beforehand, they'll go in there, and usually it's your bigger feeds because obviously you have more opportunity with more birds.
Yeah.
So these 500, 800 bird feeds, guys will go out there, they'll take binoculars in their blinds, and they'll call the geese down to the point where they land them in the field. You can't really do it in water because you can't see their feet below the surface.
Are you spotting them as they're landing? Is that a thing?
Feet on the ground. They'll be standing in your spread, put up your binoculars, look at each of their legs.
But you're a waterfowler and you're seeing these ducks land. Put down the landing gear, they're coming in. Are you seeing it then?
Normally you're calling, if you have 5 guys, you can have 2 of them with binoculars up as you're seeing them land. It doesn't matter though. I mean, when they're standing in a field, you can see their legs clear as day.
Yeah, but in your experience, or either one of your experiences,
you can see bands. You can see bands easy with your naked eye when they're coming down.
Yeah.
Feet out first. But when you have 50 geese landing at one time,
it's tough to pick them out.
Yeah. So it's take your binoculars. It's as simple as you take your binoculars to blind. Yeah, you land your geese. Look at them through binoculars. You see a band, and you'll either shoot it off the ground or just stand up out of your blind, and they all fly up, and you shoot the band.
Take them down.
And a lot of guys will only shoot banded geese. So
but is the band used for population data? Is the band used for flyway data where birds are traveling?
I think they do it. Don't quote me on this because I don't know. Obviously it's a federal thing, and then it goes to the state off the data that they collect. I assume they would use it for both because you could study both with them.
We were banding giant Canada geese and resident geese around Kansas City, and that was to see if those birds were actually leaving the area or they were staying right there, say inside of areas that can't be hunted. So are they conditioned to stay?
Yeah.
I say that.
What did your research find?
Well, there's geese that stay.
I don't know. Me and my crew were the ones that were doing the banding.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. All I know is that after, I don't know how many years, because they were doing it before I got there, but after a certain period of years, we started with giant Canadas. Half of them went to a meat processing plant for, soup kitchens and stuff.
Oh,
they were being
when they were harvested.
Well, we're rounding them up when they're flightless.
Okay.
So picture
to get rid of them
instead of horses with cattle, it's boats with geese.
Yeah.
And so we'd bring them in, and I can't remember the number. I think it was 50% from certain areas would go to a soup kitchen, and the other, because I think what they were finding is they weren't leaving. They weren't going outside of say the no hunting zones of the Kansas City metro area type of thing.
I'll say there's definitely a greater number of geese there's a greater number of geese that stay local now. There's probably close to, just in the whole North Dakota, Missouri River system, there's probably close to 1,000 birds that just sit on the river.
Which is nothing.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's nothing. The number's probably higher, honestly, but there's birds that just sit on the Missouri River year round and don't leave.
If there's open water.
And there usually is. We have to have a deep frost for the whole river to get covered. Or
it was for anyways.
And there's technically another controversial thing is there's less and less birds migrating now because the planet as a whole is warming up, and they're finding these golf courses to sit at year round, or the rivers, and they're just not pushing south anymore. I assume that's true to a degree, but once again, it's a year to year thing. If the frost line goes all the way down to Kansas, Missouri, those birds are going to go to Louisiana, Texas, all those things. If we have a lighter frost year, they might stay in Missouri the whole time, or Nebraska. It all depends on the winter, essentially.
Ooh, okay. I have a situation that happened. Sorry, are we done with that one?
I was done. Yeah.
Did we start early, or are we way over? I think we started that early. So
this should be the last one.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because the time's the same whether we started early or started late.
All right, so
this should be the last one.
This isn't. This is really a situation that happened to my wife this week about wildlife.
I know.
Do you want to tell the story?
There's not much to tell.
I'd like
essentially. Well, I heard this straight from my mom.
Yeah.
So I get home from school one day, and she's like, "The craziest thing happened." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Well, I was just finishing up my lunch here." and I hear this banging on our door, like this knocking. I thought it was just like a package being delivered or something, so I didn't answer it. And then the doorbell started ringing. My mom's like, well, I opened the door, and there's this older lady standing there, and she's like, she's out of breath, and she's like, this mother duck and her 12, I think she called them chicks, which is not the right name, but her 12 babies they were crossing Washington, and I had to get them all off Washington, so I got them all off, and now they're in your backyard, so can I go in your backyard and get the ducks out of your backyard? My mom was like, yeah, sure, and she ended up helping this lady, and they finally got them out of our backyard.
Breaking the law, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know. You're not allowed to touch ducks because they're fed. Anyways, they essentially got out of our backyard.
What is breaking the law about this?
You can't
molest.
You can't touch a duck or a goose outside of season.
Any migratory animal?
Well, you can't do it. You shouldn't do it with wildlife anyway.
But it's even worse because it's a migrating animal, so it's technically federal.
Yeah, any wildlife, but
does it make a difference
that
it's a migratory bird? Is it
it's
worse?
Worse. It's worse if it's a migratory bird because it's federal.
It's usually scrutinized more.
Okay.
Because
her heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
So we'll take it. And I can't believe they had to be mallards.
Yeah, it was a mallard hen, and this
hatched already.
This is the crazy thing. Oh yeah, that was early. It was crazy. This is the crazy thing. So they got
incubating for 28 days.
They got them up we've had a nice spring, I'd say, but they got them up our street, and my mom was like, well, I mean, we kind of just let them walk out of our backyard, and they walked up the street, and my mom's like, I didn't follow them, so I didn't know where they went. And then my dad needed to go watch my sister's soccer game because he didn't have a car.
That's a long story.
He didn't have a car this week. Was in the shop. Anyways, we're driving up there, and I see a mallard hen with probably 12 ducklings following her across Washington.
Going back the other way.
This is 6 hours after my mom's story happened. They're going the same way across Washington. So these ducks cross Washington regardless.
Yeah.
And of course, once again, there was this lady. I don't know if it was the same lady. I doubt it. But there was someone who threw on both their hazards and stopped in the middle of the left lane in Washington to get out and help these birds. Obviously, you don't want to hit a mallard and her 12 ducklings, but it ended up being like a probably 20-car backup at one point.
Yeah, and this is in like a 35. It's in a dangerous spot too.
For anyone who's not from Bismarck, it's a 4-lane, 35-mile-an-hour street, so not a residential. And it was 5 o'clock, so everyone's getting upward.
That's the posted speed limit. That's not the average.
Normally, people drive about 42 on that, so it's not safe to just stop.
42.1. No.
Anyway, her heart was in the right place. Yeah. Should she have not just taken those mallards across Washington in the first place? Because the mom did end up crossing with her ducklings 6 hours after the ordeal in my backyard happened.
Because she knew where she was taking those.
Oh, yeah. Ducklings. And I don't know where they went in town. I would assume, well, actually, I don't know.
They'll nest, I think it's up to a mile from body of water.
Yeah, and she was probably pushing that mile.
Question that this lady was asking. The other question I would have for, either one of you, but the biologist in the room, like growing up, I always heard you never touch baby birds, or and my wife was saying she's heard eggs because then the mama won't have nothing to do with them.
Well,
is there any science to that?
After those chicks are hatched, she'll protect them. I know that for a fact.
I mean, flushing a hen off a nest multiple times,
Oh, yeah.
She could potentially abandon.
Well, like one thing people say is like touching a deer fawn. Like if you see a deer fawn hiding, don't pick it up. And that's what I found.
Absolutely not true.
You should not. To be clear.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But
yeah.
If it's like in the middle of a road for whatever reason and you need to move it, it's not like you're sentencing it to death by moving it off this roadway.
Correct.
Yeah.
But mom's standing right there somewhere.
Yeah. And I agree with you. But in whatever small instance where somebody does need to move
I honestly think that was something that was just to keep people, because they're awesome little ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen the one that I have mounted. The deer fawn.
Oh, no.
You have a deer fawn mallard?
Yeah, I hit it with a batwing mower. And all it did was one of the blades struck. There's a little mark on top of its head. And I work for Missouri Department of Conservation, and I asked them, I'm like, so
what do I do?
Can I have this? Yeah. And so they gave me, and they probably still do it, but it's a disposition form. In other words, it's like a roadkill.
Yeah.
If somebody wants a roadkill for meat,
Mm-hmm.
they give you the game warden has to sign it, check it out, look at it, stuff.
Yeah.
The game wardens were in my office.
Yeah.
They were in the same building, so it was like, hey, can I do this? So I had it freeze dried. And so the only thing that's not natural is his eyes.
Really?
Every part of that animal is the same as it was the day it died. Yeah, I was so bummed too, because I started mowing. I would mow fields. I was mowing thistle, but I'd mow from the center out.
Oh yeah.
Right, because if you mow from the center out,
They should
push them out. Right,
Yeah.
typically, like if there's fawns in there and stuff. This
Or
is
game
right
birds or
peak
anything, yeah.
fawning, and
It just so happened
I looked
he
over
was
my shoulder, and I actually killed 2.
Oh.
So I looked over my shoulder, and I'm like, "What is that?" I stopped, and I went back to look, and it's a fawn, not pretty, and I was bummed because I'm like, I'm trying to do this so I don't hit him.
Yeah.
Get back in the tractor, go another, probably 100 yards, and I look back and I see something flopping, and second one.
And that's another instance is if you're combining a field, because like cornfields, I mean, mothers will hide them in there all the time. If by some miracle.
By that point.
Yeah, but not
in
by
time.
that.
Yeah,
time.
but I'm saying
Not
if by
harvest.
some miracle you see it before you drive over it.
Yeah. Usually that's haying time doing what he's doing, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
but
That stinks.
no, I mean you should not touch them. But I think that's something that I don't know if it came from like state agencies or
It was definitely a higher up
parents,
agency that just
because
wanted.
Yeah.
like my parents knew that if there was an animal out there and we could catch it, we were going to catch it and bring it home. So it might have been something just to get people, because when there were a few days, within the first, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days, you could just pick them up a lot of times because they're supposed to lay stock still.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
So if there's any disturbance around them, they just literally lay their head down and they just don't move.
Yeah.
Right? Mom's right there, and so you can literally pick them up. But we had when I was running a research facility for the university, and when I was in Missouri, people would bring them in. And we're like, where did you find it? How long ago was it? Et cetera, et cetera. And if it was a short period of time and it was close, we'd just take the fawn back out and release it. And a lot of times the doe would be standing right there.
Right there.
Somewhere
That's
in
cool.
that vicinity.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And just, hey, heads up, if it's a bear cub, I would leave it completely alone. Even if
Don't
it is on
even-
Washington, because
Yeah.
if mom's around, that's the last thing you want to
And
have.
that's not going to be a good
Or a
thing.
moose calf, don't mess with them either.
Yeah.
we didn't experience with
Joke.
that.
But
All
it's
right.
not a joke.
Want a fact of the week here?
Not a
Yeah.
All right. This is
This
not a
is actually the
percent.
second fact of the week, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not a percentage one. What state has the most registered Boone and Crockett bucks? And this is counting whitetail and
I already
mule
know
deer.
the answer to this.
I thought you already did this one.
I didn't do this one.
You didn't?
No, I did. I've done. What is
Oh, wait,
the?
I
I
know
didn't.
Pope and
I've
Young. I
done.
don't know.
What is the odds of a deer making it to Boone and Crockett?
Oh.
What state has the
Wow,
most?
that's a tough one. I'd say it's like
I'll tell you, it's not Alaska or Hawaii.
So I know the answer for Pope and Young, but I don't know.
Okay, well, this is not Pope
I'm
and
gonna
Young.
say
So
Iowa, which is a stretch
Oh.
because it's shotgun only.
what?
No, it's Illinois.
Iowa is shotgun only
You
hunting
can't. I don't think you can use a rifle in Iowa.
for deer hunting.
Yeah.
You can't use a rifle.
I don't think so.
Wait. Okay.
While
Okay.
you're thinking, I'll
Are
look
you
it up
saying
quick.
that slug hunting does not count in?
No, he's
Boone and
saying
Crockett?
you-
No, I'm just saying that
In-
that's a
in the
stretch
state of
because
Iowa.
I
You're
gotcha.
limiting your
Yeah, yeah.
capabilities.
The answer is Illinois.
The answer is Wisconsin.
I thought so. It's Wisconsin for Boone and
for
Crockett, Pope and Young.
What? Okay, I don't know what you heard about Pope and Young, but we were doing Boone and Crockett, and the
I know,
answer is
okay,
Wisconsin.
Okay, all right.
That's crazy. Iowa's shotgun only.
We're gonna have the answer real quick.
I could not
Well,
imagine
you
doing
have
that.
to, you know-
you can only slug out. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It could have changed, but it used.
There's no way. Well, that's all from us. That concludes episode 23. We'll be back next week with Briar. I think it's his choice. So, peace.
Appreciate you.
See ya.